Hey Neil, good to see you today. We are here to talk about ALESCo. ALESCo is pretty integral to the AlmaLinux organization, shall we say, but it's not really super well known or understood yet. We haven't done a good job of talking about it much. So before we get into like kind of what ALESCo does and the more recent stuff, why don't you give us a brief overview of what ALESCo is and what its goals are?
Yeah, sure. So ALESCo is a group of community members that are engineers heavily involved in using and developing Alma Linux. That we come together as a committee to help guide the way that Alma Linux evolves as a platform. So we primarily focus on technical progression, but we also kind of serve as like the weight, the balance between like how we think about features, marketing, life cycling, all these other things that are related to um, supporting, maintaining, and life cycling Alma Linux releases and features around it.
Yeah.
So we use this to kind of like make sure that we a way of giving community input and making sure that like whatever the community is like looking into and interested in with the Alma Linux, that we have a path to have them heard, bring it into a broader view, and sound it out and see what we can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet. So that's a great intro. If we talk about like a little bit deeper, how does ALESCo come into play when somebody is specifically requesting like a security patch, for example?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I think there was an example just quite some time back. I think the very famous CVE 2024 6387, which I think got that fancy name regression.
Uh huh.
Quite
Yep.
a fun pun. I like it.
Yep.
I'm all for it. So ALESCo came together when it was published, and we looked at what the patches were, evaluated the stuff available from upstream and all the other places around us, and we decided that we were going to go ahead and get this fixed. And so we developed a fix based on the upstream code as well as the stuff that we knew from the releases we had. And we even submitted that patch to our upstream, CentOS stream, to benefit the whole ecosystem because we actually like working with everyone.
Yeah.
And so this has happened quite a few times, but I think regression's like super famous for in
Yeah.
this respect. So I like pointing it out. It's a pretty awesome way where we actually work together to benefit the whole community, not just us alone.
Yep. And so like the other cool thing that I think we get to do is respond when people have additional like feature requests and that kind of stuff. Can you speak to that process a little bit for adding support or features for hardware or file systems and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So last year, we launched our RFC process,
Mm-hmm.
and that process allows the community to directly have a structured mechanism to make requests that we should consider for Alma Linux, either within the core distribution or side along features or things like that. And so the idea is that people come in and talk to us with a structured proposal, and we debate on its merits, and we get solicit feedback, and we evaluate the feasibility of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this has happened a couple of times already. The first one off the top of my head is the NVIDIA driver. I think that's pretty well known in the space that we're like one of the major community based distributions that have a full arrangement with NVIDIA, where we now have our own driver that we're building that's signed. Everything just works out of the box, along with a redistribution agreement about for the user space stuff. So you get all of it from us,
Mm-hmm.
verified and integrated together. That came out of the RFC process where someone submitted a proposal. We went and worked together with them, and we got it all working in a way that everyone really benefits from it. And all
Yeah.
that code and all that work is open, so it was made available for anyone else to like examine and understand.
Yep.
Now that's more of an add-on type thing, and
Mm-hmm.
again, that's hardware enablement, that sort of fun stuff. Something more deep and core to the platform, where we've actually made a distinct change to Alma Linux, is when we added Btrfs support to
Oh
Alma
yeah.
Linux starting with 10.1.
Yep.
So that went through the RFC process. It was evaluated. We figured out the scope, working with the contributors and the and ALESCo as well as the core team. And we managed to get it scoped out, get it implemented, and it shipped in Alma Linux Kitten. It's also a great reason why Alma Linux Kitten exists, because we were able to evaluate all that stuff in time as it was being developed through with our contributors, and make sure that everything was going to be ready for Alma Linux 10.1. So we had a smooth rollout for that feature because we had all of this wonderful infrastructure with people and the supporting code and the tooling and the process.
Yeah, and this really helps us meet our goal, like the AlmaLinux goal of transparency across the board. What role do you think the greater community plays in all of this?
So I think it's just they're the start of the great ideas. They come to us and they talk to us. Whether they reach out to us in our chats on Mattermost or Matrix, or they engage with us on social media, and then we can guide them through our documented process with the RFCs and help, and we can work with them on evaluating these sorts of things. And honestly, I think this is how we make AlmaLinux the best community enterprise Linux platform that anyone could ever want.
Agreed. Completely agreed. We always love to give feedback and have more people be involved. And I guess that makes my last question. How does ALESCo fit into the broader goals of AlmaLinux, the operating system?
Well, it really starts with the fact that the AlmaLinux community and the AlmaLinux Foundation all decided together that when Red Hat basically made being just a rebuild or a clone or whatever you want to call it functionally impossible, we took a hard look at ourselves and we decided, well, we want to be just more than that. We want to be an actual community enterprise platform. And that personally excited me, as well as a number of other people. And I think that's what really made the difference. So with ALESCo, we essentially put together the means of having the community engaged to build the enterprise Linux platform that we've all wanted. And so we get to be, not just the driving force or the traffic controller or all these other things, but the engine for AlmaLinux's technical success.
Yep, completely agreed. Thanks for taking the time today to share all of this, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too, Benny. Thanks.
Thanks.